Welcome back to another video. Today it's about the VST plugin called Infiltrator. And I bought this yesterday and I'm really happy about how it works. And I also want to talk about why we need an interface designer in Bitwig Studio at some point. So I bought this yesterday and this is how it looks like here. We can also resize this pretty neatly. And how it works is basically it's a multi-effects device. So you can insert multiple effects here to all these slots. We have 10 slots. And each of these slots can hold up here low-pass filters, comp filters, ring modulation, phaser, EQ. There's also pitch shift here, a reverb, distortion. So everything we can already kind of do in Bitwig Studio. The only difference between this plugin and Bitwig Studio is that we don't have a dedicated interface, and we can't also do a dedicated interface for presets and grid patches. And you know, I talked about this a lot on stream and also in the Discord chat, that I really think we need at some point an interface designer, because you know, 80% of a plugin is probably the interface, how you interact with all these effects. And you can see this pretty clearly with this plugin here. So maybe we insert here, we have a low pass filter here in slot 1, and we can dial in a grid size, which is everything you can do in Bitwig. It's not a problem. What we can do here, for instance, just say we have a grid size of 8 and we want to randomize this. So we have now a multi-stage envelope generator with some curves that are fitting within this grid. So it's kind of intelligent applying here nodes to the grid with the grid size of 8. So when we change here the grid size and randomize this, it also, we get much more complexer shapes. Super handy, super great, super neat, super fast, and I used this from yesterday to today, and I really like this kind of workflow. You can also dial in here some swing, right? And then we can maybe play some kind of boring sound. I have here a polysynth just playing one note. This is how the polysynth sounds. So just a pad sound, right? Then we bring in here this modulation with the MSEC. So now we have basically here a simple envelope. You can also change here the speed, of course. Maybe try out here different. Maybe bring in your second slot and maybe bring in a reverb. Let's use a simple. So now we have a filter basically and a reverb here. And maybe a third here, I bring in a pitch shift. And we can also here quantize this pitch shift to a scale. In this case here it's chromatic, but I want to go for natural minor maybe. And maybe something like this. Maybe you can also dial back here to... Oh, it's not possible here, right? So this is the second thing here. We can apply a quantization or a diatonic quantization to values. I wish we could do this inside Bitwig Studio. We have a lot of modulators. We have also a quantize function, but the quantize function is pretty simple. It's not like that you can dial in a scale to some values and apply it then to a pitch parameter. This would be pretty great to have. And here you can do this pretty easily, and also with the randomization function, just, you know, push it multiple times and see if you discover a nice, neat little setting that sounds great. We have also here a sequence editor where we can switch between these slots. So we have slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. We can also edit this here, say we want to play back slot 1, then slot 2, and then slot 3 here. And then just, you know, change the speed and let this play. And then we can create some kind of riff or sequence. Maybe make this a bit longer and use your fourth slot. Maybe we go for, I don't know, maybe a second reverb. Do something like this. So now we have like, yeah, a nice little sequence that's based on just on modulations and audio effects on a simple pad sound here. Maybe add here super massive. So it's pretty simple to create some kind of nice modulations on top of a sound. Maybe also you use the mix knob and bring in the original tri-signal. So you just have some kind of rhythmic textures on top. And it's pretty easy to do. I probably said the word easy 2,000 times in this video, probably. But it's really easy and it's really fun to discover these kind of settings with the randomized parameter. And yeah, we have also a mastering section where we have probably overdrive, compressor. Oh, it's also a clean bass here. We probably can exclude everything below 120 hertz here just to have a clean bass. So you have all kinds of neat little functions and a neat interface dedicated to this kind of workflow. And every effect you discover inside this plugin, it's doable inside Bitwig Studio. It's no problem at all. And the only problem is the interface. We can't design something like this here and make a dedicated interface to these presets, to my grid patches, and so on. So, and this would be pretty nice for, you know, noobs or beginners that don't want to dive into my super complex grid patches or these presets and just want to have a sleek, easy, accessible interface. And I think it would be a nice addition to Bitwig Studio to have an interface designer. I mean, we kind of started with the polymer thing here, where I thought initially when they announced this here, this becomes some kind of interface designer where we can plug in here all kinds of grid modules and then, you know, design all interfaces to the presets. But I also think we need a lot of modules that getting information back out to the user. So for instance, we can apply modulations with macro controls or buttons to something, but it's pretty hard to get information back out to the front end. So for instance, a spectrum analyzer or yeah, these kind of things. Spectrum analyzer, VU meters, maybe that something happened or that you exceed the threshold, or you know, some kind of canvas where we can show something that happens way down the chain in the front end. And I always wanted this now for multiple years, that we get something like this inside Bitwig Studio. There's nothing like this on the market right now. I think it's a big hole in the market. When you want to do something like this, you have to go into VST development, or maybe go to a VST plugin that allows you to do these kind of things. For instance, Melda's MS Sound Factory, where you can create devices and then also create interfaces for it. So at the end of this video, I want to show you a small track I made yesterday with the help of the Infiltrator. And I used this here on the bass track. It's just a phase 4 synth. And inside these clips, I'm using automation data here for some of the settings. You know, just to get some movement in there. And this is how the bass sounds here. And I have at the end here just an infiltrator to add some modulation. And it's just mixed in here by 39.9% or 40%. You know, just to get some textures on top of the sound. Also here the synth. Without the infiltrator, it's just a chord. You're just adding here a simple sequence of modulations to different FX, and you get this nice little rich, interesting pattern. So I really think this enriches the sound a lot just by adding this on top. And yeah, like I said, modulation is everything these days on sounds. So this is basically a plugin I want to show you. Also, I wanted to talk about Bitwig Studio and the interface designer. And I think that's it for this video. So give this plugin a try. There's a link in the description below. It's not a sponsored video. I bought this yesterday and I think it's a great plugin you should try out. So if you have some questions, of course, please leave some messages in the comments below. Also, leave a thumbs up if you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, maybe think about the subscription over on Patreon. I have a lot of different tiers with some interesting gifts maybe for you. So thanks for watching this video and I see you in the next one. Bye.